Okay. If you're used to now, see coffee cups. You got to stay over on your side with your coffee cups.
That's right. Okay. That's right. When I shared the
got
bed with my
territory
many
now.
sisters now, it's like, get on your own side, Midge. Your feet are cold.
Okay. Well, see, we've got so much more real estate here with
yeah.
this desktop. You got to be careful.
Boy,
okay.
you're kind of pushy just getting back from
I
that.
know.
Okay.
My wife tells me the same thing.
Okay.
Remember, a lot of us, especially watching KTXD, remember the Bionic Man.
Oh,
now, that show is not on KTXD yet. We're trying to get it. But remember the concept, the guy who lost so many limbs, and we can rebuild him. We can make him bigger, better, stronger, faster. Okay, so science fiction meets science fact. It sounds like something straight out of The $6 Million Man. Artificial limbs that not only move and flex, but also respond directly to your thoughts. Well, thanks to an aggressive push in funding from the U.S. military in an effort to improve the lives of our injured veterans, those kinds of advancements are no longer far-fetched. Just last month, the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago announced that its research in bionics has yielded the first thought-controlled robotic leg.
Amazing.
It's amazing. So joining us now to talk more about artificial limbs is Alan Sheppard from Alliance Prosthetics. Alan, thank you for joining us.
Here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
So,
What do you have
Yeah,
there?
tell us what you've got there.
This is an example of some of this new technology that we're discussing. This is a B Bionic hand. And
Say that again.
B Bionic. It
B,
happens-
like the letter B.
BE, yes. And it's pushing those boundaries as well. It has 11 different grip patterns. So depending on what you're doing, if you're holding an object, if you're typing on your computer keyboard,
Wow.
it's going to accommodate those things.
You can write with that thing?
You can.
Can you shake hands with me?
Well, if a wearer could, but since I have this little demo forearm, I don't control it as well as someone who actually wears it.
Wow.
So it does work by picking up those muscle signals in the arm.
So it really does, it is controlled by your thoughts, which trigger the muscles in your forearm, potentially.
It does. It's considered myoelectric, so it senses the electrical signal in the muscle, and so the muscles that would normally close the hand, close this hand, and open it as well.
Does technology go so fast in these things that this may be obsolete next month, or does it just really move? It seems like it's unbelievable what these things can do now.
It is. It's moving so fast, and it's a job just to keep up with what's coming up next.
Wow, yeah. If you're not inventing it yourself.
Correct.
Okay.
So what's it like if you are, say, a veteran, disabled veteran coming home, you've lost a limb, say an arm, and you have to make this adjustment? What's that process like so that you not only get fitted with the prosthetic, but then have to go through some kind of training to learn how to use it?
You do. You have to go through like occupational therapy and just the fitting process, making sure that everything fits properly so those signals are picked up. But it is pretty much intuitive as far as the controls go.
Is that right? So it's not difficult.
That's right. It does take some retraining and just figuring out, all the different settings and grips. But it's like anything else. Like my new iPhone, I couldn't work it when I first had it, and then now
you can.
Now I can.
Sure.
Is it in wider use than the servicemen and women returning from Iraq and Afghanistan? It is out in the civilian world.
It is, and that's one of the, I guess, silver linings to some of these conflicts is it does push the technology, and we all benefit from it. Kind of like this computerized knee that I have here. It's microprocessor controlled.
Can you show us that one?
You bet. A lot of folks use this style of knee now that senses if you're on your toe or if you're on your heel, if your leg is extending or flexing, and it helps to keep even the older population safe from falls. It senses
So it keeps you from tripping or falling.
It does. It
How
kind of
does that
has this anti-stumble feature. It has hydraulics that are controlled by the computer itself. And so if your foot doesn't get completely extended, maybe you stump your toe, it very quickly shuts down those hydraulics and makes it stiff so you can catch yourself. The old technology would unfortunately sometimes allow you to fall.
Sure.
What about the availability of this under President Obama's Medical Care Act? There's now a excise tax on medical devices, and then apparently there will be a board at hospitals deciding who gets what. How will that work, and will this be accessible?
It is now, but we are seeing some of those, constraints coming forward. The approval process is a little more stringent for these, and so hopefully that won't get any harder than it is now, because so many people can take advantage of it.
So quickly, and I know each one is somewhat unique, I would think, but what's the ballpark price for a forearm like that with the hand?
Oh, around $30,000 in this particular case, and of course it just depends on the level.
Sure.
But that's an average.
It almost seems like it's kind of cool. People will not feel like they want to stay home or stay in a wheelchair. They're going to go out and do things, because these things they're bionic.
Not such a stigma.
Iron Man.
They are. There's actually a cosmetic cover that goes over this, but a lot of folks are, opting not to cover and make it look like a leg. It's almost that kind of badge of courage thing.
It's amazing where how far you've come. And thank you for coming in. Alan Sheppard, this is the forefront of prosthetic science.
Great.
And it's Alliance Prosthetics, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thanks,
for having
Alan.
me.
Thank you so much. Coming up next on the Texas Daily, the Florida woman who dangled from a drawbridge for a half hour. Her son says she is legally blind and couldn't see the no trespassing sign. So we'll discuss her rescue after the break. Stay here.